Okay, the hour is upon us. I'd like to call to order the property meeting for June 9th, 2025. Roll call. I have Becker here.
Miller here. Anderson here.
Lyon here.
Seisha here.
All present and accounted for. Certification, the open meeting law requirements have been met. Dear? Correct. All right. Okay. Okay, everybody got the minutes from the April 14th and May 12th.
Move to approve.
Okay. Motion by Doc to approve. Second by Dick, energetically. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, none, motion carried. Okay, next we have public comment period. It's 15 minutes. Members of the public will have a 15-minute block of time to comment on today's agenda items. Members may be present in person or call in to make such comments. To comment by phone, please call 715-538-1894. Public comment may be extended or curtailed at the discretion of the committee board chair and after advisement by the committee board. Okay, next up, Samuel's group, update on the project. Kurt?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
you got the adoption of the agenda.
Did I miss that? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm glad you pointed it out, thank you. I've got a 11-item agenda, need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
I'll
Motion by
second.
Rich, second by Renee. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion carried. Thanks, Rich, keep me in line. All right, next we'll go to Samuel's
All
group.
right, morning, everyone. Brief update today. Things are going well. So the phase one portion of the project is essentially your second floor, but we've got it broken up into sub-phases. So there's a B and a C. For the most part, the demolition is done. The asbestos abatement on that second floor is mostly done. The two lead time items that we're waiting on are some door frames and some fire dampers. We are told that we should get those deliveries this week and some into next week. So the phase 1B and the phase 1C are slipping a little bit because of them. And those two areas are the IT space and then the area north of the IT space. So basically the west side of that existing corridor in there. We were hoping to get them done a little bit sooner, but the dampers and the door frames are having that slip a little bit. But those are supposed to be in the next week or so. And then we'll keep working on that. And the same thing with the doors and the dampers up on the balance of the floor. We don't believe that this delay is going to affect the balance of that second floor because of the end date is still, I think it's early September, end of August, whatever it is. But these two are going to slip by a couple of weeks on that second floor. So Tad's been working with Jeremy and Tim. I hope he's keeping you guys in a loop on those delivery dates and just so how that's impacting the move, because obviously we're moving people into those departments. And then once second floor is done, then we'll drop down into first floor after that, but that's really the focus. So things have been going well. I don't know, I guess I'll look for feedback on noise or complaints from occupants. How has it been? Has it been okay?
Yeah, and I'll speak to that on
Okay.
my maintenance update, but there's been no significant
Okay.
issues between working with Tad and working with the departments that are affected.
Okay, good. Yeah, so Tad's been working closely with Jeremy just to coordinate all the efforts, and I thank Jeremy for that, because it's been, at least from what my team is telling me, it's been going smoothly. So hopefully that's how it's going on the end for the county. So things are going along well. So, as far as the value engineering items, we did work with the electrical contractor, and I don't have a final list because we're waiting on some pricing from them for the LED lights in that existing corridor, because we may switch out what was originally spec'd with something new. And once we get that done, then we'll have that value engineering. But we have been able to find some of the savings that we had targeted before from the electrical side. So hopefully I'll have that list for you next month. And Jeremy and Tim have been reviewing that, so they're up to speed on what those proposed changes were on the electric side. And then when we get that summary from them of the LEDs, we'll bring them to you. So, been going well.
How we're changing the lights. Right. Was that
So-
the original design?
Well, so what we were looking at is that the valance lights that were on each side of the corridor, we
Yeah.
were gonna change them to an LED, just basically a retrofit to that bulb. But because of what we're doing with the dampers and the work in there, we might put lay-in LEDs rather than those valances, and then what we can do with the full wall finishes. So we just wanna get a price on that before we make the decision. So once we know what that is, we'll bring that to you for your review.
Okay.
Yep. That's all I had. Not much in regards to, it's good when there's no excitement. I think things are going well. So it's been great from the coordination of Tim and Jeremy, so.
Now, is the framing,
Oh,
is the framing completed in the?
Until we get the door frames in there, we can't finish the framing around it, but a lot of the framing is in place and the mechanical and electrical in those areas is underway. So once we get the door frames in, we can finish that up. So, yeah, it's coming along well.
Good.
how's the connection coming here between the two buildings? That's gonna be done on this first
On that
phase?
first, second, yeah, it'll be, whatever, I forget the date, end of August, early part of September is when all that's gonna be targeted to get wrapped up. So,
I tried to get through there the other day and you couldn't get through, they had plastic through it.
yeah.
Anybody have any questions for Kurt?
Good. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Kurt, appreciate it.
Yep.
Okay, next up, IT Department, Mr. Robertson.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Last week, or last month, we had the massive update, and I will be brief this time. There's nothing new to add to that. Renee and I went to a conference for our state government information professionals organization and learned some things. AI is still scary. We're continuing to work on all the things I addressed last time. There's no new developments that I can really put forward at this time. Any questions or anything concerning? I still don't have an update from Brightspeed and AT&T and Motorola. They're working with Wayne directly. We meet every Tuesday and go over it, and the state is rescinding the grant, but no one's come to get the money yet, so we'll see how that goes.
I could give an update on that. I worked really close with Wayne and the sheriff at the end of May and contacted our state representative, as well as worked really close with some other individuals at AT&T so that we secured a way to get AT&T on board to agree to sign with us to allow us to extend so that the grant will have until, we'll have longer to finish it. So Wayne can give an update to Law Enforcement Committee, but we're okay there.
And yeah, we will be in the dispatch space till the end of June because of the door frame and damper issue.
330,000.
No. Well, that's good news. Thank you, Becky.
Yeah, it was stressful, but yes.
I was glad I was out of town for that
Yeah.
conversation. Well, if nothing else, then I'll,
Anybody
Jeremy,
have
come on out.
Anybody have anything else for Tim? Any other questions? Thank you, Tim. Appreciate it. Okay, next up, Maintenance Department, Jeremy.
Good morning. So I'll kind of pick up where Kurt was speaking of earlier. So I do meet daily with Tad from Samuel's group to go over what was done pretty much the day before, anything that pops up that particular day. So I'm aware of the door issues and the damper issues, what we're waiting on. So I'm not super concerned about the timing of all of that. If you're interested at all in walking through that area, you can reach out and let me know, and I'll bring you guys some hard hats and glasses, and we can walk through and you can kind of see. It's easier to visualize now because of most of the walls, at least the stud framing is all laid out, so you can kind of see where things are sitting. I have brought the department heads that are moving up there, the register of deeds, treasurer, county clerk, up to see their space, so they kind of have an idea what their space looks like, and they can start conceptualizing in their mind where they're gonna want stuff to be laid out. So that's worked out favorably for those department heads as well. The connection point that you had talked about, Adi, that is part of the current construction. That's why we've got it sealed off now, because at one point in time, there was some dust that had triggered a fire alarm over there that triggered the fire alarm in this building. So we've got it all sealed up with plastic, and two, it's that way you're not walking into an active construction site if you just tried to walk through that door. So that's why that one is done at the moment. But that's scheduled to be done during this first phase. So the only one that I'm waiting on timing on with Tad right now is the health department, and that's going to be, I think we're trying to work that where I'll be on vacation the beginning of next month, and that one is just a lot of shifting from A to B, so my staff can do that. So we should be on track with everything over there, and everything's looking good as far as I can see. Over the past month here, we've had no major issues. We've got some hearing lights that aren't working in the courtrooms, which I'll be working with Accurate Controls this week, and those are just the lights outside that they illuminate when they turn on when it says it's a closed hearing. They're supposed to flash. Now they're not flashing. They're not even turning on. So that's an issue I'm working with them. During the course of this, we had a couple pressure relief valves during the construction project that when we shut down the system, when we fired it back up, a couple pressure relief valves gave out, but they're about 15 years old, so we're replacing those. And that's just basically the valve that's like on top of your water heater. If the pressure gets too high, it just starts releasing water. We usually flex those on our PMs every 2 months, but this one, they just got used a little bit more, and now they were actively leaking. So I've got 2 of those that I'm replacing, and then one that's a major unit that's getting replaced right now by Winona Heat and Vent. I do have a small sinkhole forming in the parking lot in the old section of the building, what used to be the sheriff's parking lot. I've got that parking spot coned off at the moment. And then my staff and I will be cutting out the blacktop and packing down the dirt. And then I'm gonna get a hold of Neil to come out when they're doing when they got hot mix at one point in time. That way I'm not just filling a hole with cold patch in the middle of the parking lot if I can avoid it. But we've got that parking spot coned off now, so nobody parks in there and gets a nasty surprise if it's deeper than I thought, so.
There's no pipe or anything underneath there which caused it, that's just a
No,
natural sinkhole.
It's just, well, it's a existing patch that's starting to sink again. So there's something underneath that just didn't get packed down right or whatever, so we'll cut it out and take care of it from there. There has been a couple small changes too to the plans over here, mostly with just the location of the mailroom. It's not significant changes, and any changes that I've done with Tad or Samuel's group have actually all benefited the county in the long run, because there's been nothing where we're approving spending money. It's approving changes that are in the cost betterment of the county, so saving money here and there. So we changed out the blinds that were going to be going in a few windows. We've changed out some millwork that was going to get done in these what was to be the mailroom, and we shifted it over to another. I can show you on some plans later so you have a better conceptual idea of what that is. And then the LED fixtures that Kurt was speaking of too is in the hallway when you look. One is because if we change it out to LEDs, we're waiting on a price from Hudson Electric to do that. I've also given Samuels a price on what it would cost me to buy all the fixtures, because the way the work isn't going now, we're going to pay Hudson to take them all down, and then we're paying Hudson to put them all back up again because the work that needs to get done in that area. So if I'm paying them to put them back up again, let's see what it would cost us to do the LED fixtures. Because one, I could submit that to Focus on Energy, and I'll get a rebate for the LED fixtures that we end up buying. And then two, it'll help reduce our electric bill in the long run. And I think cosmetic-wise in the hallway, where we removed all that wallpaper, it's all skim coat, they just skimmed all new new mud on the walls. And if we shine light directly down the wall, you're gonna see every imperfection in that wall, so it'd be more beneficial to have LEDs down the middle of the hallway. So we're waiting on prices for that. That one would be coming to me, and then depending on the final cost, coming to here too before we approve any of that stuff. But and I am making a small little bit of profit too, which will be helpful for my department. Is During the process of this here, I've made sure that we've had metal recycling dumpsters out here, so we've been recycling any of the copper, aluminum, steel. I think I'm on my 4th dumpster right now, so I just told them to hold off and send the final check on that one when we're completed with the project. So at some point early next year, you know, I might get a check for $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, which will be nice. You know, it's normally, like I've said before, I just spend money, so it's nice when I can bring in a little bit, so.
It's nice you to bring some in for one.
Yeah. And then the only other issue we had this month is we did have an issue with a lock in the jail, which been working with Kurt and Tad, and we did have Stronghold, who was the the installer and the supplier of that lock, come out, and they did all those repairs that were needed for under warranty and free and no cost to the county. But that was, like I said, conversations that we've had in past meetings, and then working with Jack from Stronghold, we got those taken care of. This one, happily, in a quick manner. The issue arose on a Friday, and they were here by Monday, and they got the issue taken care of, so I was quite happy with that. So, other than that, I have no major concerns, updates, unless you have any questions for me.
Kurt probably hit on it a little bit, but where are you as far as the lead? Is it more than it was expected or
The
less?
or the asbestos?
Yeah, the asbestos, I'm sorry, yes.
As far as I actually understand it right now, that first floor, or the second floor is done. So the company Mavo won't be back again until we start renovations on the first floor. There was a few areas that had a little bit less than we anticipated, but then it also did go a little bit further into another area that we didn't expect until we got into where land records is now. But that bill, I seen that one come through, and it's not outside of the realm of what was approved for spending. I think I not approved, but signed some of the paperwork that came through for the vendors, and we're well on par for where we should be. We're not gonna go, like I said, anything that's been more than what we anticipated was more coming off, not more being added on money-wise. So I don't think there'll be any issues with that. And that went as smooth as I can tell. Like I said, the departments that were underneath the work, whether it was the grinding of the floor to get the adhesives off or the asbestos work being done, veterans, treasurer, it was more of an annoyance. The only areas that we were really concerned is when they were working above dispatch. So that one, what we did was we made sure that the contractor that was up there, whether they were grinding the floor or doing the asbestos abatement, if they were loud, dispatch had the direct number to the person that was running that machine, and they would call that number, and that person would discontinue work immediately so that 911 can continue to hear if it became that big of a problem. So that worked out favorably. We got no complaints, just more nuisance issues than anything. So.
Thank you.
Doc, you guys anybody have anything? I got one for you, Jimmy. How are we coming on those air exchangers, those filters? Remember you had those issues where you couldn't get at them? They were
You'll notice there's a few areas here in the building now where the ceiling tiles that look like this, they look exactly the same, but they're actually, these ones kind of sit in the grid.
Right.
The new ones that I've replaced them with sit on the grid like most people's ceiling tiles do. So the appearance looks the same. If you leave, when you go out this door here, you look up at the ceiling and you'll see two ceiling tiles that are the same design, they just sit a little bit higher. That's everywhere that you see those is where I have a filter above the ceiling that I can now just lift that tile out, change the filter, and put the tile back in. It's a slight cosmetic issue, but most people don't notice it unless I'm actively pointing it out to you, and then you'll notice it when you walk by. But that's a price that they're not cheap, but so I didn't want to put just a random tile in there. I wanted at least the same design style, the same texture. But at one point in time, it was in my mind to replace all of these with that type and style of where I can just lift them out. But that's a significant cost to do that. So I'm only doing it in the areas right now that I need to do that. Or if we've done it in one of the courtrooms, or we had to add a camera. Anywhere that we need to have direct access all the time, you'll notice it's a different tile. But the rest of them are still a nuisance, but they're not driving me as bonkers as they used to.
there's no way we can go back after the manufacturer on that, or?
That's actually what was specified by the design team, so it wasn't a manufacturer. It was
Yeah,
the
it's-
product that was spec'd.
Yeah,
So
the
we can
product
go-
is not faulty.
we
The
can go
product
back-
is just
It's not user-friendly.
correct. Yeah, but it's not faulty. It's not doing what it was not designed to do. It is just not designed, it's not designed for maintenance, basically is what it is. Maintenance, I should be able to pop them off, do what I need to do, pop it back in and go. These are more aesthetically pleasing for the design team that picked them. But again, even if looking at them on the spec sheets, when I looked back, it doesn't really specify that, oh, these are not friendly to take in and out. You don't really notice that until everything was approved and the guy was halfway done doing this building, that even he was getting aggravated with it. So, like I said, I know where you're coming from, but I don't think
Yeah.
there's no recourse for us other than it was a,
Who designed that? Who designed it anyway?
Venture, so the other part of that is that if you look at the tiles, they are supposed to be fully accessible, but Jeremy is pointing to areas that he's gonna consistently open them up.
Right? So there's some tiles that you may not touch for 10 years.
yeah,
you know,
there's
so-
some that are never gonna be touched at all unless we have a roof leak or anything like that, but. So, and again, there is a learning curve that comes along with them. So what used to take me 20 minutes to get the tiles out, now I'm down to about 10. So you give me another few months and I might be able to get them out in 5. But the installers that do this every day, because I've had one come through to give a demonstration and he was able to get them out in, 45 seconds. So but it's the ones that have the speakers in them, the ones that have the lights in them, stuff like that, where it gets a little bit more tricky. And then coupled with the fact that they are like a tongue and groove, so if you do it a little bit too hard, you kind of break that tongue, or the groove. And then you have to replace the tile, because then it kind of bends everything. So they're still not my favorite thing in the world, but everywhere that I need to access them on a routine basis for our monthly or biannually PMs, they've been replaced with stuff that's easily removable.
Okay, we're not gonna, in the new one, do we have any of that? In the-
No,
Okay,
yeah.
so we eliminated.
I was a little bit
we
more.
eliminated that.
Yeah, I was
All right.
pretty thorough with this one over here, and then I've been very vocal to any of my counterparts that I've discussed with, that are going through renovations, that here's what I have, here's what you don't want. So we've,
He did share that with Venture, so they understand the feedback from an owner.
yeah.
Okay, thank you, Jeremy, appreciate that.
All good now?
Anybody else have anything else? Okay, thank you, Jeremy. All right, I'd like to take this time to close the public comment period, saying that nobody called. Okay, next up, discussion on county properties. We're still in work on trying to see how we're gonna handle some of these properties that they changed due to road movement or changing the intersection or changing the whole road. So we're trying to get rid of this, put some of this property back on the tax roll. And I put it on there just in case. Susan's working hard on that with Nick, me, and the highway department. So I haven't really come up with anything major yet, so we'll just keep putting this on every month until so we can, when it does come up, we can do something with it. And hopefully get some of this property back to the landowners and on the tax roll.
Quick question, have you had any property owners contact you about hopefully getting that land back?
We've had one, yes.
One.
Yeah. And I think once we have a plan, we want to make put something in place that when somebody comes to us, we can say, this is how we do it,
Yeah.
We give it to them, or they pay for it, and you do the engineering, or we do the engineering, or, we don't have those things lined up yet, so.
Right,
And Susan said she's found a couple really good other counties that have done this, and they have a good template for us to go off of. So hopefully we'll have more down the next couple months. All right, next up, confirm date and time for the next meeting, July 14th at 8 o'clock. Is everybody okay with that? All right, sounds good. And we have reached number 11, and we have accomplished everything on the agenda. So at this time, at 8:25, I'd like to adjourn the meeting.